Hey, everybody. This is Trey Serrano. So, I wanted to go live to tell you guys what's really going on in the San Antonio market. Now, the biggest thing I'll say about this market, housing bubble, or recession, or however you want to call it, is number one, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So, I wanted to make sure that I come on here and I'll tell you guys facts of what's happened the last 6 weeks, what I think is going to happen in the next 3 weeks to 3 months, and what we can see in San Antonio with this housing market. So we'll give it another minute to see who else comes on. But I did all the market research, and the market is pivoting. There's so many YouTube videos and people talking about market crashes, recessions, inflation. But what does that mean with the San Antonio market? The San Antonio market is very, very unique. It is a type of market, in my opinion, is recession proof, and I'm going to show you why when we get closer to this live broadcast. Uh, I'm going to share my screen and just go into it. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, write in the comments, because honestly, this is how I get video ideas, is both the comment section and your questions. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what I mean with what's going on in the market. So here we go. So if you look at the housing market here, and we look at the last 6 weeks, it's super important that, with all this recession talk and everything else, this is the last 6 weeks of sales that are closed in San Antonio. Now, if you look at the median house price, think, oh, it's cooling off, it's bursting. But I mean, if you look at the facts, this is April 18th to basically just a few days ago, May 29th. You have a median house price starting here at 352. It went down to 342, but then it came back even stronger at 354, and then back up at 364, came back down a little bit at 355. Now, as of last week, median house price in San Antonio is 360,000. Now, in a recession, in a housing recession we saw in 08, it was really about not practicing good lending practices, and that's what happened. There's a lot of foreclosures, a lot of people in those kind of markets. But in San Antonio, and this was in a Forbes article, a Fortune article, they said that it basically missed Texas, which is really interesting. So if you look at the number of houses sold, they really hover around the high 400s to low 600s consistently in the last 6 weeks. 528, 678 homes sold, 481, which is the lowest in 6 weeks. But then it came back up to 502 and then 601. And last week, 596 homes sold. And average price, is between 420 and 440, which has been sold. So a lot of indicating factors that, it is happening. But let's see. There's a little bit of a change everywhere in every market. So CB says housing market is crazy everywhere. About to list our house in South Mississippi, and prices are crazy. You know, I've talked to other realtors around the country, and nobody's seeing a house price crash, which is interesting because I mean, I feel like, and I may be offending or pissing somebody off, and I know I'm going to get trolled in the comments, but that's okay. Um, I feel like the feds are like raising the rates, yes, to fight inflation and to do better in the economy. Uh, but they're really raising it to kind of push the button, say, let me raise these rates higher and higher. And up, the housing market's still strong. Let me push it even higher. It's like my son when he was a kid, he kept pushing things until they broke, and then he would try to fix it. So I feel like now, and this came out with the Keeping Current Matters, which is a national statistical magazine with housing information and data, where it's showing, and I'll pull it up right now. Let me share the different screen here. But it's showing that interest rates are actually leveling off. So this was an interview with Tom Ferry, a very known real estate coach, and David owns Keeping Current Matters. So this is the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae interest rate. So back, a couple of months ago, it was at 3%. It was awesome. I know I closed on a property. A bunch of my clients closed on property. We really took advantage of it. But look at this steady stream. What David was saying, it's completely going up. This is that Fed, whoever it is, just pushing that button. Like, you know what? I'm just going to keep increasing and increasing it. And then all of a sudden, we see these slowdowns. And by slowdown, I mean, we're so used to in the past year just seeing a huge spike in sales, multiple offers, shortage of houses, shortage of building houses, shortage of supplies, that now the Fed's kind of leveled off in the past 2 months. So they got to about 5.3, and I know some clients have seen 6%. But look, in the past 2 weeks, the bips of what or the lenders are saying, it's come down in the past few past few times. So now we're seeing a slight decrease. So now it's back down to 5.1, the national average, which is really interesting. So let's see what other comments we got. Just had two 25,000 under appraisals. Holy smokes, that's insane. It's interesting because I don't know. Maybe we should fight the appraisers on that. I'm kind of known for fighting appraisals. I'm not scared. All I can say is no. So we have Derek here. Derek is asking question: Are home appreciated in value from 400 to 560? Yikes! Should we contest? Hell to the yes. And I think the deadline for protest of taxes was last week. And so your tax evaluation, this is a good side note, your tax evaluation is not the same as your market evaluation. When you fight your taxes, you need to tell them everything that's wrong with your house. You can even bring a previous inspection report, lower the taxes. Now I'm getting on a tangent. I'm not talking about the housing market anymore, but definitely fight your taxes. Fought both with no luck. Oh man. Sometimes that's unfortunate. Everyone thought a few months ago the appraisers were gunning for us because they want to kind of sustain these prices, but who really knows the real reason? So I don't know your name because it doesn't come up. It just says Facebook user, but I appreciate you letting us know, and that's something to watch out for, guys. And then CB says, I think it will take 8 to 10% rates to scare anyone. I mean, right now the Fed's, according to my Keeping Current Matters, it's leveling off. I don't know if the Feds are going to just continue to maintain and hover around 4 or 5%, because I feel like 4 to 5% is doable in most markets. And you have, the median household income, with whatever city it is, having the household income, to cover a lot of these different areas. And yeah, I mean, I feel like once you raise rates so much, the consumer demand is I mean, I feel like it should go down because people are being priced out of their homes. So Misha says, what's up, brother? Appreciate you coming by the live stream. And Misha, let us know what's happening in your market. Misha is in Georgia, so we'll see what's going on there. I mean, everyone I talk to is pretty much saying the same thing. So I'm going to bring back those slides to kind of tell you more about San Antonio in particular. So as we bring this back, oh, that's not it. Hang on. Let me find it. Here we go. There we go. That should be it. Here we go. Okay. Make sure. Yep, that's it. Okay. So weekend home sales, we talked about this stuff. Another very interesting article that came out, and this is from the San Antonio Current, but it has been released in other articles, is the Census Bureau said that San Antonio is ranked the fastest growing city in the country. Nearly 14,000 people moved to the Alamo City. In my other YouTube videos, I was saying that the Housing Authority in San Antonio has a 50,000 waiting list for families to get into affordable housing. And, with all the bidding wars and stuff, with prices going up, I feel like it's kind of releasing a lot of the tension that's going on in the market. I mean, even though we all kind of say it's the market's popping and everything, I do feel like the tension is really being released as opposed to some kind of crash or something. So in this article, it continues to say that says the U.S. with the biggest numeric population growth from 2020 to 2021, San Antonio number one. Number two is Phoenix, then Fort Worth, then Port Lucie, then North Las Vegas. I guess that's the suburbs. So U.S. cities with the fastest population growing is Georgetown, which is a suburb of Austin. Lanier, Texas, no idea where that is. Queen Creek, Buckeye, and Arizona, and New Braunfels, which is a suburb of San Antonio. New Braunfels is a very, very well-kept secret. Well, now that it's fastest growing, maybe not anymore. But, I mean, it's, a lot of people are moving there just because it's a super cool city. So Misha is saying that we are slowing down here in Middle Georgia. And also, he might move there. So many cool people. And then CB says, add 2 to population in October or with our little dog. Very welcome. That's awesome. And as we go back to this slide here, we're going to go into what the market trends are specifically in the statistics. So in these last 2 months, there is signs of a slowdown officially. Now, again, the slowdown, in my opinion, is the housing market just basically relieving tension. And it was very, very tensioned, a couple of months back. So let's look at it. In March 2022, which was a couple months ago, new listings 3,782. And now last month, April, was 4,260. So you have definitely more new listings coming up. If you look at active listings in March, it was 4,258. And now active listings, which is houses that are currently available, 4,800. So a couple hundred more. Pending sales went from 3,400 to 3,200. So we do see more new listings. We do see more active listings. And also the prices of 200,000 and below went down from 10% to 8%. And that's what we're seeing there. I don't want to bore you too much with any more statistics, but the days on market went from 34 to 31. So pretty similar. And another huge, interesting fact is I feel like investors knew this was coming. A lot of the bidding wars really came from unknown sources. We don't know if it was, just everybody knew about it, but there's other sources to tell people where the in-migration is. And this article, which is the San Antonio Express News, is saying nearly half of the homes sold in Bexar County went to investors last year. And it was the highest in the U.S. A lot of these times we see this, and investors want cash flow. They want appreciation. They want to make a really good move in a really good market. Market is probably the most important thing. And for investors, apparently, to unanimously pick San Antonio, I feel like is definitely, there's a reason for it. So what's going to be coming in the next few months? I mean, that's really a good question. In my opinion, because of the demand, because now we're named the fastest growing city in America, I feel like the market tension has been relieved, but I don't think there's going to be a crash. I really, really don't. Let's see. Derek says, as you know, I was investment advisor for 15 years, so I would be careful what to say. Yes, we used to have a process called Real Fortune. Long story. Rising interest rates is an attempt to stop inflation. I totally agree with you, Derek. And deflation of the greenback. So since they've been printing money like crazy, yes. And actually in San Antonio, they had $200 million that they infiltrated into the economy in San Antonio for when the pandemic happened. And since San Antonio gave all that money, and I did it in my YouTube video, could that be a reason why the property taxes went so high? I don't know. I'm definitely that's above my pay grade, as they say. Hopefully, this will stabilize, and the little bit of a higher interest rate, hopefully, that fought the inflation as much as we needed it to, and hopefully, rates can come down. So let's see. We just drove our neighborhood tonight, and there's a few houses listed, and they are under contract. Inventory is near zero, hoping for a bidding war. So yeah, I mean, I still see the bidding wars happening in all over San Antonio. It's definitely not going away, but I mean, I feel like the tension has been relieved to a lot of what we did see the past few months. So, you know, let's see. So if anybody has any more comments, questions, concerns about the market, what's going on, I know for our team, we're still seeing very few multiple offers, and I feel like some now sellers, it could be a better investment opportunity because sellers are so used to the bidding wars that they may make a mistake and overprice their house. They overprice their house. It could be that you may get a good deal on it if it sits long enough, and if the shoe fits, so to speak. So we also, because of higher inflation, because of everything getting more expensive, wages don't seem to be catching up. So you want to make sure that what you see is still available. So I think, any more comments? That's right, guys. I just want to make sure that you guys know that this somewhat cooling, or the tension being kind of let loose, it's really not affecting the house prices. It's really affecting just, let's see, we had that happen down here. So yeah, I mean, it's not that prices are really going to go down, that we could see it could. But right now we're seeing the same amount of houses sold, within 4 or 5, 600 houses a week. Demand is very, very strong. And, besides the interest rates, if interest rates go back down, I mean, if they hover around 5 or 6, and these weekend sales were probably people who financed, they're financing, high fours, 5, maybe even 6%, if they have down payment assistance or something. But these are the kind of figures that we're seeing, and they're still selling houses. There's 600 houses that sold last week, which is about the average that in San Antonio. So there really isn't a cool down so far. It's just, I feel like the days on market may get a little higher, but I mean, we're just so used to the tightening, multiple offers, bidding wars, just hours on the market. We may not see that, at least for the summer. We can come into the data once midsummer, end of summer happens. And once that happens, then we can project what's may happen come the fall or winter. But I think the Feds and the interest rates are going to maybe play a factor in that. But I'm not a loan officer, but there are loan officer options. You can have ARMs, you can have different financing options, 5-year terms, 7-year terms. So there's a lot that can be done, and those rates are a lot less than the 5.5% or so. Derek says, I agree. I'm also seeing houses come back on the market because of lost wages, financing falling through. And you're absolutely right, Derek. There is, and it's not on the statistic, but there is obvious signs that buyers financing doesn't go through. Maybe they were used to looking at the pre-approval that it was 3 months ago, and then they finally get under contract, and now they see the updated interest rates when they're trying to lock it in and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not used to what's going on here. So absolutely. I actually showed houses today. 2 of them were back on markets for financing reasons. So definitely something to watch out for. It could be an investment opportunity. AJ says, new to the channel. Welcome, AJ. Can you tell us what you do other than YouTube? So I'm a realtor, and I have a small team here in San Antonio. We go all over the San Antonio suburbs. I was also a police officer before I did full-time real estate, And for the past 2 years, all I did is full-time real estate. I love to showcase neighborhoods, give you guys information. I spend a lot of time making these videos, and it's really to educate you guys, because I remember my first deal before I was a realtor, and the realtor didn't explain anything to me. And so that's really what I do. And if you follow me on Instagram, I showcase a lot of the neighborhoods. We're showing houses and stuff. But there's also a lot of downsides to living in San Antonio. So I want people to know that as well. If you look at my problems video, I got a couple of videos. Some of my colleagues tell me you shouldn't put that information out there, but you know what? Screw it. I want you to know, and I want to make sure that people are educated before they move, because I moved here from New York 12 years ago. I would never go back. But I appreciate you joining, AJ. And if there's anything you want to know, please drop it in the comments. I use the comments as basically ideas for my videos. So CB says, is it good to take first day offers or wait a few days? Pros and cons. That's awesome. So, wait a minute. I got bumped by this comment. Derek AJ is the best realtor in San Antonio. Thank you, Derek. Derek is amazing. He's also a photographer. He's videographer. He's very, very, very good at what he does. Definitely check out Derek. So is it good to take the first day offers or wait a few days? Here's the pros and cons. If you get offers on the first day you're listed live, what your realtor should do is give you a best case scenario before you went on the market. So let's say your house is, let's use one of these median house price sales, $360,000. Let's say the values based on the comparables are $360,000. So you go to list your house. Let's say you list it at $350 just to get a bidding war, because nowadays people are very comfortable, and even realtors are comfortable writing up over asking offers. In the contracts, there's about $6,000 to $8,000 of negotiable items that you can make sure that the seller doesn't pay. So what I would say is, depends on what your house is listed, the strategy behind what they list, because the sales price is just a bait. I mean, that's how Zillow gets so many clicks and all these other websites, is it's just a bait to get people to click on your house, to steal your information or whatever the hell they do. And the price is really a strategy, or it should be a strategy. So it really depends on what the house is listed at. If it's listed at the top of its value and it's a great offer, I say, why the hell not? Or if it's not the best, what you have going for you is that you only have 1 or 2 days on the market, whatever it is. So maybe considering that offer, knowing that you could sit on the market, but the reason you get strong offers, and usually why people go with the first couple of offers they get, is because you have the leverage as the seller, because you really only expose the property for a day or so. So that's 100% what I would do. AJ says, moved here November 2018, bought my house 2019. Luckily, I did given the situation. Yes, totally lucky to buy it back then. 2019 was a really, really good year to buy. And I feel like house appreciation based on demand, based on factual research, based on the in-migration, is still going to be very, very strong across this market. I don't see house prices and appreciation going away. Also, rents. I did a YouTube video a couple of days back about the housing bubble popping. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was about affordability. And San Antonio has the most affordable rents. Let's see if I can pull up this article. In Texas for a major city. So second place is Houston by like $70 or $100. So I think the average rents in San Antonio for affordability is around $1,170, and I think Houston's around $1,250. So, but I say that to say that the demand is still there for housing, and if the demand is still there and there's a bigger density of population, you're going to have a very strong market to sell. You're going to have a very strong market to buy. I mean, I invest in this area. Our team does a lot of showings, and we move a lot of properties around this area. So I don't see it. I mean, if I had factors of hey, the house prices might go down or this. There is nothing but infrastructure changes all around the city. If you look at here, we'll pull up a map. We'll just have 5 more minutes left on the stream, but I do want to show you a lot of what new things are going on in San Antonio. And if we just pull up a map of San Antonio, I don't know if I can spell it, and there's a lot of developments, and that's the infrastructure developments. And then just like last year, a lot of these investors bought, like in the article said, 50% of the houses sold last year. So we have this up. You have the 35 corridor that are basically, it's a $1 billion project. It's in, I mentioned it in my other YouTube videos, but it's basically going from the 410 Broadway area, which is right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, and then all the way up to New Braunfels, St. Marcus, and I think eventually it'll probably connect to Austin. So this corridor is going to have an overpass. They even implemented the what do you call it, where the government can buy part of your land for the easement of traffic. So they did that all the way on the northeast side. They're expanding 1604, which was honestly not really intended for this many neighborhoods, but 1604, all of this area is being expanded to 5-6 lanes, and right now it's only 2 lanes, and traffic is pretty bad right here on the northeast side. You have 281, which this is another corridor, probably next to Boom is this 281 corridor here. And it goes right up to beautiful Spring Branch, beautiful Blanco, Johnson City, and it goes into the Austin suburbs. And it's very beautiful hill country up there. We got Fredericksburg this way, Bernie, all that good stuff. Love that area. And then you have, of course, I-10. They just put in, I think 2 years ago, the HOV lanes to go from I-10 all the way inbound to downtown. So with all the infrastructure changes, you have the airport that just got $500 million expansion for new terminals. There's more flights. I mean, I just don't see anything else that is slowing this market down. You have all this infrastructure changes. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, we have a very, very heavy city manager. And I mean, by heavy is like they're heavy with holding the city funds, because they want to make sure they spend it in the right places. And right now they're dumping it into the infrastructure. So I don't see this market changing. I could be wrong. I know I'm going to get comments later on. You don't have a crystal ball, Trey. You don't know anything, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Do you tell me if I'm wrong, please? I mean, I'm definitely open to anybody letting me know. Okay. So CB is asking, are short-term rentals available in San Antonio? We're going to need a place while house finishes being built. Average price, 2-bedroom with 3-car parking, not in an apartment complex. So, there's a lot of Airbnbs out there. The Airbnb, just so you guys know, in the housing market, there is a secret map from the city of San Antonio of where Airbnb permits are. I do have that, and I will be making a video of how to get Airbnb in San Antonio. That's coming for another video. But to answer your question, CB, yes, there's a ton of Airbnbs all around San Antonio. So it really depends on which area you want. Gustavo, sir, how you doing? So San Antonio, Austin, next to, the next Dallas, Fort Worth. You're 100% right. And there's 2 corridors in San Antonio and Austin that can really be connected. And if we go back to our cool map, you said Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, this is, I know it's super tiny. Let me zoom in a little bit more. You have this area that's obviously the city of San Antonio, but Bulverde Canyon Lake is blowing up. Super high volume of neighborhoods and amenities that are popping up. You have also multi-families all over the place in Canyon Lake. So this eventually will be, a larger suburb, much larger than it is now. Blanco is really cool. Johnson City is like an old Texas town, but it's really not anymore. I mean, it has a little bit here, but I mean, it's so much expansion that you will have this 281 corridor, pretty much locked up. And the 35, obviously, I mean, Kyle Buda is huge in their median house price growth. It's even growing out east to Lockhart, Luling. So, investor secret is Seguin has the city approved 400 homes to be brought into Seguin. Caterpillar business, they have like 200 or 300 jobs they just announced in Caterpillar for Seguin area, and it's that I-10 corridor. I mean, if you look at the city, I-10 is really the last of the Mohegans to not get this like stupid traffic all the time. So I mean, it all these neighborhoods are popping up: New Berlin, China Grove, but really out to Seguin, and then you could a nice straight shot right up to New Braunfels, and New Braunfels is where everything's happening. It's the cool town. But then you shoot across Bulverde, Bernie, you get the gist. So let me get to the comments. You have Moreno. He has put a link to his Airbnb. Awesome. That, yeah, plug it away, brother. No problem. They're a great family. Yes, check out their Airbnb. I was looking at Seguin, but it looks like a sad town. That's awesome. I love said that. So Seguin was really, really known for just a little tiny town, just on the outskirts of New Braunfels, on the southeast side of the county line, and really wasn't meant to be developed. But McQueenie has a really nice lake. Suns Island's there. It's super fun to go to McQueenie. And this lake is beautiful. It has $1 million homes. It has a lot. And right down the street is Seguin. And Seguin, you have really easy access from I-10. You have 46 that'll shoot you up to New Braunfels. And, you can pretty much get anywhere. And it's a lot more convenient than being kind of in the foothills of Canyon Lake, where it kind of takes forever to get to either side. So, I mean, I just think location-wise, once everything else expands, it's going to push out Seguin. I know a good buddy of mine, colleague, who listed, a couple of homes for $500,000-$600,000 in Seguin on acres, where it's 1 acre tracts, but they're beautiful homes. And if I were to type Seguin to San Antonio, it's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, which is nothing. With if there's really no traffic, even another 10 minutes with traffic, it's really not bad. So it's good stuff. What else we got? Carlson Sophia, great Airbnb there. Well, I'm wrapping up our 30 minutes. Hope this helped with the market popping, market easing. But, as the facts come out, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some information. If there's anything else, I'll answer the comments as they come in. I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you next time.